Who's you guys' movie, which you two apparently liked?
Well, nobody in our film had AIDS. So
AIDS in our movie, no. Actually, yeah, our movie was actually really damn fun.
it was fun.
It was really
Yeah,
fun.
It was.
So, yeah.
Stop smiling, motherfucker. I'll hit you again.
I can't do it.
It's better than the first one, then, I take it?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Well, they don't try and go into any background on it. They just throw you right in.
Yeah, you just go right in, and it's just a really fun action film, and like they yeah, because in the first one, yeah, there was action stuff, but like they focused really heavily on the backstory stuff, like how Duke and the Baroness met and all this other stuff, and that Rex was actually his best friend. None of that.
Mm-hmm.
First scene is this really awesome, assault on a warehouse, and then then all the GI Joes get killed. And it's like it's cool.
By fumbles?
By fumbling? No, yeah, right. No, by like the fleet of Apache helicopters. It's very awesome.
Because, well, I guess there is a little backstory in it, because I think at the end of the first movie...
Right, it is a continuation of the first movie.
Continuation of the first movie. Because at the end of the first movie, Zartan, the Master of Disguise, has assumed the presidency. Right. Well, he's still got it now, and that's what furthers the plot for this movie.
Exactly.
So is it one of those continuations that just ignores half the first movie?
It completely ignores it. After the opening scene, there's kind of this little moment where it says the G.I. Joe team is now led by this, and they're now doing this. There's kind of like enough of an exposition that here's where we are right now.
And
that's
Cobra Commander's still in it, too,
oh, yeah.
but not Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
No. You barely see his face at one point, but it's all like scarred, and then he instantly puts on the mask.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And then he has the mask-helmet combo that looks like from the cartoon series.
I like that. Yeah.
So instead of that weird bubble mask thing,
yeah,
like he really looks like Cobra Commander from the cartoon.
Does he sound like him too?
He doesn't have the squeak. He's got just a very dark.
I would have liked that.
He has a modulated voice.
Okay.
Deep modulated voice.
They didn't put Destro. They just fucked Destro over.
Destro's like there's a scene where Storm Shadow and Firefly break Cobra Commander out of like this underground prison.
Yeah.
And like they say, Destro's there.
Yeah.
Because like the way they have them in prison is that they're in this like cryostasis chamber thing, where like they can't move but they can see, so you see their eyes move. And like Destro's
just
there.
Fucking dark.
It is.
No, and they keep him in suspended animation, right to the point where like they keep him at REM sleep, but they keep him awake. But their body is slowed down so much that they're like in a REM sleep state.
But they can still see.
But they're
they
awake
can still
and aware.
see everything.
But they can't move.
Isn't that dark? That's great. Well,
the only thing
the Geneva Convention allow that?
The only thing that's going in their body is their eyes and their heart.
Exactly.
That's it.
Yeah, and actually, what's awesome about it is there's like this. He's like the prison.
Like the warden.
The warden. Yeah, he's like this warden, and he's this really like funny, smart ass guy. Like they're bringing in. Like Snake Eyes to the jail, and like he's saying, like, I got you down here, Cobra Commander and Destro. You're like my fantasy football team, Like he's really funny, and he's, it talks about, how like they're so far under the ground, they're underneath international law, so that's why they can do shit like that, and stuff. So it's well done. Anyway, so Destro's there. But then, like, they get out, he frees Cobra Commander puts on the mask, and then he looks over to Destro, because they can hear. He says, you're off the band.
You're out of the band.
You're out of the band. So it's like, that's how they explain why Destro's no longer in this.
And then they blow the entire facility up.
Right,
so you assume Destro is
killed inside the facility.
As is Duke.
I was going to say, I've actually heard that they actually do kill him off in the first 10 minutes.
They make it ambiguous, supposedly, but at the same time, Roadblock, which is Dwayne Johnson, has this dog tag. So he had to get the dog tag off of something. So he probably is killed. But what they did do is I'm assuming they added a bunch of scenes in the beginning with like Channing Tatum and Dwayne Johnson like at Dwayne Johnson's house with his kids.
Palling
around. And like,
I saw that in the trailer. They're playing like Xbox or something.
A Call of Duty like game. And actually, those scenes are actually really funny. They're really funny. There's another scene where like they're doing a contest to like shoot a candle out. And they're really funny.
Yeah.
Like you can like there's I almost wonder if maybe those weren't scripted so much.
Right.
And it was really just them shooting the shit and just having fun.
Yeah.
It's like I really liked that. So it made Duke, instead of just being here's Duke and now he's dead. It's like here's Duke. We like Duke. Duke's a cool guy, and then he's dead.
So,
it
gives you a reason, gets you invested in the film to try and continue on.
So it's the only movie in the universe that they kill off Channing Tatum and you don't want him to die?
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
Yeah, because actually they make Duke into a really likable character.
Probably the only movie where I've actually liked Channing Tatum.
I know, yeah.
Sounds like he's already more likable in this than he was in the entire first movie.
Oh, sure, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, and like they call him out on some of the, like he says, like, drive it like you stole it, and then Dwayne Rooney says, dude, as a friend, you gotta get a better catchphrase. So it's like, commenting on the fact that,
Is Roadblock the main character of this movie?
Effectively,
Pretty much,
it honestly, it's more ensemble cast, and really,
Because I wondered, because in the trailer, it looks like he's the lead. Then when you look at the poster, Bruce Willis is front and center, and then when you look at the cast listing, it says, like, and Dwayne Johnson after a bunch of different names.
He becomes the, like, de facto leader of what's left of the Joes.
Okay.
Because there's only 3 of them left. Because there's him, Flint, and then Lady J, and that's it. Oh, and then Snake Eyes.
Because he's not there.
Right, yeah, Snake Eyes is on the other side of the world. And then there's... We got to talk about the ninja stuff.
Oh,
was...
It's fun.
Just crazy fun. Like there's a crazy ninja battle. And
Tell us what the plot is, for fuck's sake.
I think they did.
That's it.
That's it?
Cobra takes over the government, and then tries to get him to kill G.I. Joe.
Okay, yeah, that's...
I mean, that's effectively it. The deeper part of it is that since Zartan is now the president, he calls a nuclear conference with all the world leaders. They're all sitting in a room together, and every world leader has, like, the nuclear football case, which is a laptop that the president actually has, which he can launch the nuclear weapons from, and it's always next to him. There's always a Secret Service. So since Zartan is the president, it's a Cobra soldier that's holding that nuke football case. So he's got all these world leaders in a circle, and he says, okay, you all need to disarm right now. And they're like, well, no, we'll just do a little bit. And he says, no, okay, well, all right, I'm going to launch every nuclear missile America has at you. And so he does. He launches every single nuclear missile America has. They're flying towards the other countries. So all the other countries flip out. They launch all their missiles, so every missile on Earth is all flying towards each other. And then Zartan says, well, I'm going to be the first man to disarm. So he turns off and blows up all the U.S. missiles. So everybody else freaks out and does the same thing.
Is this the trailer that shows, like, London getting blown up?
Right.
Okay.
So that happens. So now, effectively, every nuclear missile in the world has now been destroyed because they launched them and then aborted the mission. So then Cobra Commander comes in, and they reveal that they've made these satellites that can fire what are called...
Tungsten rods.
Tungsten rods, which there actually is like a... I think they're like actual weapons that are like experimental or whatever. But they're rods from God is what they can be called, and they're just tungsten rods that fall via gravity. And because of gravity from orbit, they basically have a more destructive nature than a nuclear bomb. So, all right, so everybody's blowing up all their nuclear missiles. There's no nuclear missiles left in the world. And Cobra comes in and says, but I have these satellites, and by the way, boom, he blows up London.
Yeah.
He says, you have 3 minutes to give complete and total control of the world over to me, or else I will blow up every other capital left on Earth. And so that's there you go, that's it. So then the Joes have to stop that. That's the end game. Joes have to stop that. Again, it's not really deep, but it's enough. It's enough because it's mostly action. This movie was mostly action, and most of the action was crazy. It was great.
And you guys grew up with the show, like everyone in this car did. And being fans of the show, it worked enough for you like that?
Yeah, we were kind of talking about this a little earlier. You want to go ahead first?
No, you're good. No.
Okay, yeah. Well, I love the old, the 80s show, the original Sunbow, and even the Deke show I watched it. I like the Sunbow one better. I remember Sergeant Savage, which I think was just a video series. I remember G.I. Joe Extreme, which was terrible. I remember G.I. Joe Extreme was just an awful... I like the one episode, I'm like, done. I was like 9, but I was like, done. Not watching it anymore. And then I think there was nothing else till Sigma 6, which I didn't really care for. Then I loved Resolute, which was like a mini-series. Did anybody else see that?
No.
G.I. Joe Resolute was like this mini-series that was like a PG-13 version of the original story. It was incredibly well done. It was violent. People actually died. And it was cool. It was really, really well done. I loved Renegades, which was the series.
I watched some of that.
Renegades
that was,
was really fun. I really, really, really liked that. And I really wanted the first movie to be good too. So like,
Yeah.
I love G.I. Joe. I have G.I. Joes. I have the Bruce Willis action figure. I had to order it online from this movie. There's a Bruce Willis action figure. I looked at the stores here in town. Nobody had it, so I ordered it online. So I have him standing on my. So like, I mean, like, I love G.I. Joes. I really, really do. I enjoyed the hell out of this film.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I just really did.
Well, and like you were saying, Renegades, they borrowed the plot, part of the plot from Renegades, where the Joes get framed. Well, yeah, that's the other thing. That when the movie starts out, the Pakistani president is murdered. They frame Snake Eyes for it. They steal a Pakistani warhead. Then the Joes have to go in and get it. Well, then Zartan, playing the president, sends the strike team in to kill the Joes, and then announces a press conference saying, "Oh, the Joes killed the Pakistani president. They stole this nuclear missile, so I'm now disavowing the Joes, and I'm pretty much, I want all the Joes' heads."
Right, and then the part is he said, the new special forces is going to be called Cobra. So that's why Cobra takes over, is because they're the new special forces.
Yeah.
okay.
So, I mean, it's I mean, as for a movie, it's plausible. It's a plausible enough, how Cobra could come to power like that.
For a movie based on a toy line.
Toy line.
Yeah, who gives
movie
a shit?
based on a toy line where the whole series. I mean, the actual series, even though I love it and will still catch reruns and still watch it,
Yeah.
was so terrible.
I get baked and watch the movie a lot.
I know. That's the only way to
movie's
truly experience.
terrible.
It's awful. It's
The movie's
so
like worse than the
awful.
worst episode.
Yeah.
I mean, during the Great Cobra Wars in the 1980s, billions of dollars of military equipment was lost, but nobody was hurt. Thankfully, nobody was ever.
Woo!
Nobody was hurt, and they kept admitting guys whose like special ability was like, I'm a good basketball player.
That's right. The fucking
They got the Globetrotters.
Captain Gridiron.
Dude,
Captain Gridiron.
fuck Captain Gridiron. A refrigerator Perry was a G.I. Joe.
I know. So yeah. I mean, it's a terrible show, and like every time it's like they've got all these missiles and guns and like Cobra commanders on a hang glider flying away, and they're like, we can still catch Cobra Commander, and then Flint will go, no, let him go. He's like, why are you letting him go? You guys have guns.
He's learned his lesson.
He's on a hang glider.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. They're on hang gliders. There's at one point where they're attacking like the Island of No Return, which, by the way, they have the worst real estate agent ever. They're going towards the Island of No Return, and like, they're all on like wind gliders, like little sailing like surfboards. It's like, that's your assault? In the 40s they had Higgins boats, and now they have this. They have surf gliding. Like, woo! I don't get vacation days. This is the closest I get.
That's what they get for the budget constraints for putting all that shit up. Like, fuck you guys. You get sailing.
Right. Well, and like in the show, like they're like going to attack Cobra, and they're in their planes. They're Sky Strikers, the F-14s, and then they eject out of them, and that's how they get there. So the plane just like glides and then crashes, I assume, or like they're in the back seat of it, and just the back seat ejects. It's like that's not no plane is designed to do that. And the other thing, why didn't they just fly over in like a transport plane and have them parachute out? Like that's what they're designed to do.
One of my favorite Joes of all time. I love this dude when he was a kid. When I was a kid, because he was so ridiculous. I can't remember his name. Fuck, what was his name? But he was a parachuter.
Oh, Ripcord.
No.
Crazy Legs.
No, he was a recon guy, and his skill set was he was a parachuting recon guy, and he would jump out and do recon from the air. Wait, it gets better. He didn't use a camera or anything.
Is it Sergeant Airborne?
Maybe. He would draw everything really fast.
With combat crayons.
He would draw everything really fast. And then like his little title card said like his attention to detail is so specific that even photographs aren't that good. It's like, but it's a photograph.
It's a photograph, right. It doesn't have to be. It's a photograph. Well, that's the other thing is, why do they need specialized paratroopers? All of them parachute. It's like the same thing. Why do they have specialized pilots? All of them, like Scarlet and Lady J. Scarlet, who's an intel officer, is flying one of the planes. Everybody can fly a plane. So why do they need a pilot? Why do they need Ace to be a pilot when all of them are pilots? And all of them are terrible pilots because they all, every single time, every time they get into a tank or a plane or a boat, all of them blow up.
That was what he drew out of the job hat.
I guess, yeah.
This week you're a pilot. And this week you're a pilot.
Ooh, you're a dentist this week.
We go back to the movie.
For the actual movie,
The movie itself, okay.
How much of it is Bruce Willis in?
not much.
Not
That's
a
what
whole lot, but
that's what
he's
I've heard.
awesome when he's there.
Real question: how much of it is Sergeant Slaughter in?
If he was there, I didn't see him. He might have been one
He's
of...
on the IMDb
he might have been-
page.
He might have been one of, like...
The
'cause
old guy.
The old
There's
guys,
a group
because
of old Joes that he.
He's probably one of them.
he's got to be one of those, but, like, they don't say anything.
Because we joked about that.
Yeah, we said that they
We
could've
were
been-
waiting for them to get introduced as Sergeant Slaughter.
Right, yeah. No, but, there's a point where, like, because, the Joes are disavowed and they can't reveal themselves, so they find General Colton, who's the original G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
And he says, well, I got some guys I want to bring on the team. And so you see him in the background when they're, like, going over their mission plan, but they never say anything. Or, like, they say, like, yes, sir, or something like that. But you never... And now that I think about it, I don't really remember what they look like.
No. They're
Honestly,
they're so nondescript.
nondescript.
They're just-
So if one of them was Sergeant Slaughter, that's a good way to just sneak him in there without giving him a
Right.
huge part, which
Exactly.
he didn't need.
Sergeant Slaughter always needs a big part. He's Sergeant Slaughter.
The movie was also held back too to convert it into 3D. How did that look?
What
Yeah.
3D? There's a couple times like
When
when things fly at you.
yeah, they actually did that a lot. A lot of times they had, like, during the ninja battles,
Yeah.
like, Storm Shadow throws ninja stars,
stars.
and then Snake Eyes shoots them out of the air.
Yeah.
So, like, when they split and fly off, they
With, like, an
come at
Uzi,
you.
right?
With an Uzi,
Right,
yeah.
with an Uzi.
That's some incredible aim with a fucking Uzi.
And he does it, like, 3-4 times.
That whole scene is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
But
it's
is it awesome?
But it
It
is.
is awesome.
Yeah.
Like I leaned over to him at one point. I said, I could probably watch just an hour-long film of just Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow.
Because
Just
it's
going at it.
it's awesome. I mean, and like they got the idea of what was it like to run through the house with a handful of action figures and be playing up against the wall going, you know, I mean, that's what it was like, because they were like on ropes swinging across the cliff face, fighting each other as they fling around on this cliff face. Like, you see some of it in the trailer, but it's like that's
Yeah.
like for like 10 minutes. And it's awesome. It's really, really good. And there's this zip line scene where they're racing down the zip line, fighting them on the zip line, zip line to zip line. It's insane.
And then half of the villains or the just nondescript bad guys. Like a couple of them, one of them flies into like a rock face, and he's like, oh, just hanging off. And another guy just knocks him off. He comes flying past and knocks him off.
It's funny.
They're trying to jump on the zip line. Half of them just fall completely, and he just pans down as they're dropping to their deaths and screaming.
Yeah, it's just fun. It was just fun.
I have to ask a question about this movie since I'm in the car.
Yes.
I know we all grew up with the cartoon a little bit. I grew up with the comic books too.
Right.
And there was one comic book that always stood out to me, and it's actually a really well-known book. But it was a printing error, and the book went to press without any of the writing in it. And it's considered one of the best books of all time. And it's a Snake Eye story, and it's just images.
Uh-huh.
And I read an article that they reference that in the movie, where there's like a good 10-minute segment with no dialogue. Is
That fighting scene.
That fighting scene. There's no dialogue in the
There's
fighting
no
scene.
dialogue.
And it's all Snake Eyes. And I mean, he
It's
does some cool
Snake
like he's fighting Storm Shadow because they have to capture Storm Shadow.
Yeah.
So there's this great sequence where they finally got him, and like he's got him locked, and then Jinx, the other ninja, puts this like mask on him, and then like he throws Storm Shadow off him, and he goes, so it's like just because he can't talk, so he's just very funny. This is Storm Shadow, and like taps him, and then he's it's. There's no dialogue through any of that, so I mean that might be it.
And they're carrying his bodies across these zip lines too.
That's right.
So he's got the Storm Shadow's body's like in this bag, and it's just shooting down the zip line, and they're just following him
You're chasing after it, and with the bad guy ninjas chasing after
right
it
behind
too.
them.
Yeah.
And at one point, they actually, like staple him, or not staple him.
Wow.
Awesome.
Awesome.
What do they call him? Something.
Those
something. That climbers use to hang.
Yeah.
Yeah, they basically hang him off the side of the cliff and then go fight the ninjas.
Yeah, it's
It's
insane.
bad.
It's insane. I mean, it's insane, but it's
then-
really fun.
And then at the end, they finally finish off these ninjas. Then they look up and there's like 20 sitting just above this cliff face where they're hanging. They're getting ready down there to kick its ass. So Snake Eyes pushes Jinx to the other side, takes out a flare gun, shoots at the top of the mountain, and causes an avalanche. Just knocks them all off the mountain.
Why did he do that in the first place? But who cares?
No, yeah, who cares? That was just awesome.
And then everybody gets AIDS.
And then everybody gets no. Yeah.
The 3D is fun in that scene, not because of the fights, but because every time they knock a guy off, the guy comes flying off at the camera.
Right.
Like it's 3D red just to blur right by
He
you.
goes flying by.
Does it end with a PSA?
No,
Remember, kids, if you want to
Oh
make
my
some
God,
more money
my-
at the box office, convert it to 3D.
No, my favorite one of those PSAs ever was like there's these two boys in a pond swimming, and they're swimming in the pond. It's just this little pond, and like they're swimming in it, and then there's lightning, and one says, we should get out. And says, no, we can get out. Okay, Deep Six comes out of the water and says, nah, kids, you gotta be worried about the lightning. And they go, oh, thanks for telling us. Why was Deep Six in the bottom of that pond looking up at these boys in their swim trunks swimming?
When there's lightning around.
When there's lightning around? I mean, no, forget the lightning around. Why the hell was he there in the first place? Was he just in that pond and he's just like, I'm
Well,
Deep Six.
he had-
Hibernation.
And I sit in the
no.
pond and then the boys come in, or was he like, I'm going to follow those boys?
He had his own storm brewing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, did nobody look at this PSA and think, why the hell was Deep Six there? What the
What
hell is wrong
is
with
Duke
him?
doing in that high school bathroom?
on the DVD for the G.I. Joe, the cartoon movie, they have like 50 PSAs
do
on
they?
there.
Yeah.
And I'll go home from the bar just ripped and watch those.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like, they're all dead.
I mean, most of them are just stupid, but that one, I'm like, why the hell was he there? I mean, I know the answer, but I don't want to.
But you don't want to know the answer.
I really don't want to know the answer of why
Okay,
Deep
it's
Six was
just
there.
no.
Because there's nothing else he could have been doing. I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, the movie's.
Yeah,
It was just, I mean, yeah, there's not much
we
else.
basically told you the entire movie.
Pretty much, yeah,
That's
that's the whole damn.
Yeah.
I mean, other than exactly how it ends, but.
Yeah.
My whole movie is happy married couple, rich, creepy, stalkery dude, some vague fucking in steam. What you say, bitch? AIDS.
Our movie was alien girl has conversation with herself in her head for 2 hours.
Oh, fun.
No, it wasn't.
Apparently, someone's not familiar with sarcasm.
I mentioned in our video me coming out of it because I got a phone call and I had to come out and I saw you guys and I mentioned in my video like I just had to run up to real quick like, hey guys, I gotta get back in there. I just want to tell you real quick, our movie sucks.
That was good.
Oh my, yeah, that was great. Yeah.
What kind of trailers did you guys get?
Got a couple. We got. Well, the first one we got was the World War Z.
How does that look?
It looks like shit to me.
Yeah, he had to explain to me what it was
Well, like I
originally.
was telling him, like the actual book.
You'd like the book.
The book's
Right,
great
yeah, that's
because
what-
because it's essentially an anthology of these different people's accounts of when they first encounter the zombie outbreak and what they're doing and how they deal with it. Where the movie is just Brad Pitt. I don't know.
And rage zombies?
Brad Pitt
Yeah.
paying for Angelina's ring. I don't know what he's doing in this movie.
And half the book is explaining
Chanel
how
ads
they're
are
not
real.
fast rage zombies,
Right.
how and why they're slow.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's like,
It
that's
is.
half the book.
That's funny. Yeah, no,
And
so
it's written by Mel Brooks' son.
The movie is or the book
the
is?
book is,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I mean that could be promised, but the movie didn't play to that.
No.
So-
The book's good. The movie does not look anything like it.
It's been rewritten like 18 times
Okay,
during
Did you guys
The,
get
the next trailer was the most ambiguous, stupid thing we saw, and then we saw the title was the Roland Emmerich White House Down.
They mentioned that too, and there's
AKA Black President.
or Olympus Has Fallen too.
Olympus Has Fallen too. Yeah, with Channing Tatum as the what's his name, Gerald
Butler.
Character.
Channing Tatum is no Gerard.
No, he's not. No, he's not. it's like, oh my god, what the? I honestly thought it was like a mistake, and it was a preview for Olympus Has Fallen because
Right.
the first thing is, oh no, the White House is exploding and stuff like that. It's,
And I'm trying to sit there.
yeah.
I'm like, is it fucking aliens? Is it
Right.
fucking a traitor? They don't explain
No,
anything.
they don't tell anything,
They're
yeah.
just explosions, but it happens from within. And they keep going down to like a basement area, and they go,
Right.
they're doing these shocked like, and I'm like, what the fuck is it?
Right.
I'm not gonna see the movie. Just tell me what
Right,
the fuck
yeah.
it is.
This looks stupid.
Please.
Just tell me what it is so I can be
Right.
done with this. So then there was that stinker.
Did you guys get? Because I know that the trailer for the Wolverine has been
Yes.
popping
Yes.
up on it. You guys
We
got
the
that?
trailer for the
Got that?
Wolverine.
How does that look?
That looks pretty good. I think.
I don't like
think,
the trailer. I'll be honest.
Oh yeah. I think it could be pretty interesting. I mean, it could be
I
kind of
think
fun.
Hugh Jackman's gonna be fun in it.
Yeah.
Hugh Jackman's always fun. Let's be honest. And I like James Mangold. He's only made a few movies that completely suck ass.
It depends on how much they borrow from the Frank Miller.
I hope
Claremont.
everything.
Well, I mean, it
But
seems
obviously
like
not in the trailer.
it seems like the love interest. Definitely not. I mean, I don't know where the healing thing comes in.
It's not.
That's not
It's
in
not-
it.
it's not.
It's essentially him, basically, trying to become honorable in the eyes of, essentially because of his love for.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, and you might have gotten a different trailer than I've seen then, but yeah, I mean that's what that book is. I mean it's a flawed samurai story,
Right, exactly.
Which
And it's
I'd love to
brilliant.
see that as a movie because Wolverine essentially as a character is a tragic hero who's a samurai. He's a samurai,
Yeah.
but
I don't. I think it'll be fun. I think it's gonna be a much better film than Origins.
Well, yeah.
right.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm willing to give it a shot.
Yeah,
because I like the character.
Yeah.
So, and it seems like they had enough in the trailer that I'm like, all right, well they're going off on a tangent, but for a Marvel movie, what they've been doing lately, it's. I think that's.
but it's not Marvel Studios, it's Fox, so you never know what Fox is gonna do.
That's true. And I mean, the original graphic series is not. I mean, it has action in it, but it's definitely a deeper storyline. I think that would throw a lot of people off that haven't read it. You know what I mean? So I think they're trying to play to. They're trying to put fan service in for the people who've read it, but put interest for people who've not read it. So they're trying to find that balance line. Who knows if it'll pan out, but it looks interesting.
We both got Scary Movie 5 at our movie. Did you
not
guys
know
get that?
The next one actually with ours was Star Trek.
Oh, we got
really?
that.
Yeah,
we got like we got a short trailer for that. It was like 30
I think
seconds
ours
to
was
a
pretty short,
minute
too.
or
It
something
wasn't
like
that
that.
long.
It wasn't long.
No, it
but
wasn't very long. It was so.
Still, the fan service would be like, "Come on, it'll be fun."
Yeah.
I was just like,
Oh, I was gonna.
okay. Fucking Jim looking at Bones going, it'll be fun. I'm just like, God damn it, they got me.
Yeah.
Sons
Yeah.
of bitches.
I was gonna tell you, Skydance,
Yes.
which is the production company, one of the production companies that made the G.I. Joe movie. Skydance is also doing
Master of the Universe.
Master of the
They're
Universe.
making a Masters of the Universe
It's the
movie?
same guy who directed G.I. Joe.
And it's also they also did they're doing Star Trek. They did the last Mission Impossible movie as well.
Oh, nice.
So it's a company that's doing a lot of really cool blockbusters. And the guy who owns it, the guy who owns Skydance, is a guy named David Ellison, who is the son of Larry Ellison, who's like the third richest man in the world. He was the co-creator of Oracle, which is like a huge business software thing.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, David Ellison is only about our age. He's in his early 30s. He's really young.
It'd be nice to have a dad with money.
Well, yeah.
Make the nerd wet dreams come true.
Well, he and the reason his company's called Skydance is because he flies planes competitively. So like he races planes and like flies in formation and does stuff. He's actually a really, really cool guy. He is good friends with my former boss, Dean Devlin, and he was in a couple of things. Like Skydance did Flyboys, which is the World War I ace movie that Dean produced.
Okay, yeah.
So I a couple times he actually came to the office I used to work at. It's like you want to think, oh, he's some spoiled rich guy. I mean, he's crazy
You still
rich.
had to get his coffee though, didn't you?
I didn't get his coffee. I have a PA to get him his damn coffee. I made that damn PA get his coffee. I had interns that worked for me. Damn it. I had to get Roland Emmerich his coffee, but I didn't get. No. Actually, he was a really cool guy, and like I was talking to him about his planes, and he actually offered to take me up in his plane one day. Now, I was fired from that job just a few months later, so that never actually got to pan out.
I would have
But it's
called him up. and be like,
but yeah, I mean,
got
it's-
fired. Need a cabin boy.
it's seriously, yeah, friggin' seriously. Like, it's nice to see a guy like him, who is a nice guy, who's just excited about movies, getting to do some really cool movies.
Right.
You know, it's like
pretty
that.
awesome.
I like that. I mean, it's cool. I mean, one, it's cool that I met him and he's a nice
Yeah.
guy, but it's cool that they're doing some cool things.
Yeah.
You know, I see Skydance keep popping up, and I'm like, that's great.
They didn't
Good
do
for them.
Battleship, did they?
No.
Good.
No, they didn't do
Good.
So, anyway, that's
I'm trying to think of one of those the recent blockbusters that didn't fare so well. Battleship was the first thing that came to my head.
right. No, they didn't do that. No, so they've just only recently started really doing blockbusters.
Oh, okay.
But it's cool to see them, getting stuff out there. So
So you guys would recommend this one?
yeah,
Yeah,
I would.
it was fun.
I would.
Oh, yeah.
We enjoyed the heck out of it. I mean,
Yeah,
we were laughing through it. We're like, this is
Oh, yeah,
that's
it's
great,
funny.
you know?
Yeah.
It's fan service.
It is fan service, yeah.
I think they looked at what they did with the first film and said, guys, we fucked up. So I don't care if this is going to be non-plot existent. We're going to make it a fun movie. And they
Right,
did.
right. Yeah,
You
because
know?
the first one was let's make a generic action film
Yeah.
and try to throw some names that are G.I. Joe.
Right.
And that's what it was. It was a generic action film that had characters that had the same names as G.I. Joe characters. Whereas this one, they really tried to make it, to recapture the zaniness that is G.I. Joe battle type stuff.
Yeah.
Just crazy elaborate battles. Oh, and also they had HISS tanks.
Yes.
The
they did
actual
have his
tanks that their turrets actually popped up. You know the old toy, the toy that it popped up.
Yeah.
There were tanks that the Cobra Troopers were in that they actually popped up and had the turret and shooting. It was like, it's like I had that toy.
Exactly.
So that was fun. That was
That
great.
was fun. That was,
And I might go to Toys R Us and rebuy that toy because they have them out. I know there's, like I said, I've got the Bruce Willis action figure. He's got to fight something.
true.
Well,
That's why you get the Hans Gruber action figure. No,
If
you get the
only.
Sandra Bernhard action figure from Hudson Hawk.
Oh, God.
I would buy a Hudson Hawk action figure.
Fuck yeah, especially if it came with the little dog.
I would
grappling
only
hook.
buy the Hans Gruber action figure if he had a detachable watch.
Yeah,
Show him the
there we go.
watch.
And then I
Come on,
would
show him. What are you,
I would build a
embarrassed?
giant Lincoln Log tower and just have him drop.
Just drop him every time. You got a little Paul Gleason action figure. Like, oh, I hope that's not a hostage.
I could paint my staple marshmallow in black, and it could be Reginald Johnson.
Thought you guys just ate donuts. They're for my wife. She's pregnant.
Oh, awesome.
Well, now we've got to go home and recreate Die Hard with action figures.
It's gonna happen.
This is gonna happen. This is just gonna happen.
This is just gonna happen.
Die Hard, the
I've
Stone
al-
Gremlin cut.
I've already got the Bruce Willis action figure. It's only a matter of time before we find
I've
it.
got a Crash Test Dummies action figure. That could be the car that he throws, or the guy he throws out the window that lands on Reginald Johnson's car. It just blows up. Ah, shit, Jesus Christ! Welcome to the party, pal. We're gonna quote Die
Anyway,
Hard some more.
And that would be a better movie than The Host and Temptation.
Yes.
Yes.
We're gonna quote Die Hard some more. We'll see you guys next week.